In this video, I'm going to be sharing 7 essential tips that will improve your travel photos. So watch towards the end and I promise you that if you apply these tips, your photography will improve. Alright, the first thing I want to mention when you go travel is carrying less camera gear, because I believe carrying less camera gear is such an important factor when it comes to travel photography. Because the more camera gear you have, the more you have to carry around. Such as if you're always traveling from A to B, such as carrying like too many lenses, right? Then it's going to be a bit of a hassle to move around. For example, like the only lenses I only bring is 3 lenses and your main camera body, and that's it, and potentially a drone. Because the more camera equipment you bring, the more heavy you're going to carry around. Because for example, like let's say you bring like a bunch of prime lenses and then you bring other telephoto lenses, like you're not going to use all your camera gear. In fact, most of the photos you take is that you generally only use like 1 or 2 lenses. For example, if you shoot a lot of landscape photography, you probably use like a wider lot. Or for example, if you do like a lot of like street photography, you probably want to aim for like a mid-range lens, such as like a 24-70. Because I believe having less camera gear is such an important factor for travel photography. So always remember to carry less camera gear. Tip number 2 is do a lot of research about the location you're going to, because I believe this is a very important tip. Common mistake you could do is imagine you rock up to a certain place where it might be packed with crowds or the lighting's kind of shit during that time. Maybe get into that certain locations like 5 hours from your accommodation. So always to do some research about the place you're going to. Like for example, if you plan to go to Mount Fuji in Japan, then you have to check the forecast if Mount Fuji is available, because sometimes Mount Fuji might be covered with clouds. So in order to prepare for that, maybe book accommodation for 3 nights so you get the shot. Or for example, like when you go to Tokyo, make sure you bring a lens skirt like these, because this can be very useful to take photos through windows, because a lot of Tokyo buildings are covered with windows, so you have to shoot through a lot of glass in order to prevent the glare in your photos. So make sure you do a lot of research before you actually go to a certain spot. Number 3 is shoot in different conditions and weather environment. So for example, if you want to get a certain moody photo to your photos, shoot in the rain or shoot in the fog, because shooting in different atmosphere creates like a different mood to your travel photos. Like for example, when I was in Taiwan, right, I was in this cool alleyway where it's raining and I still got my camera out to take some really nice moody photos to show kind of the story of what's going on. Because I think like weather conditions and lighting plays a big role. Or if you want to get that softer lighting, shoot in golden hour. So this could be during sunrise or sunset, because the lighting's going to be a lot more even and you can get a lot better colors in your photos. Or for example, if you're doing street photography during the daytime, it's okay to shoot in harsh lighting, such as look for the highlights and the shadows as a way to create more contrast to your photos. So I think weather condition and lighting plays a big role for your travel photos. Tip number 4 is learn how to edit your photos, because I think editing your photo plays a big role in terms of what the mood you want to create. Like for example, if you edit your photos in like a warmer side, you'll get more like a summer vibe, tropical vibe. And this is the type of edit I normally go for when I go to more like Bali, Philippines, or Sri Lanka or Thailand. Let's say that you're taking photos in like landscape mountain, then I recommend editing your photos more into the colder side to show more that moody, cold environment, such as to show that the atmosphere and the story behind your photos. Editing plays a big role and definitely would spice up your travel photos more. And also, if you want to learn how to edit your photos, well, you can get my Lightroom presets. Just check my link in the description down below and I'll show you more details how I edit my photos. And number 5, don't always go for the hero shot, because I think a common mistake that a lot of photographers do is they always go for like the hero shot, such as to go for the hero Mount Fuji shot or to go for the hero landscape photo. Because sometimes like the best photo you take is probably just a few steps around the hero shot. Generally, you can get awesome photos by just moving around the area. I don't just go for like the main classic shot. Sometimes I go for like the shots that are just around the corner. I might like walk a few like stairs down, or I might walk up like a ceiling above. Sometimes the best photos are the ones that like you don't expect out of nowhere. So I don't always go for the hero shot. For example, like when I went to New Zealand a few months ago, when I did the Roy's Peak hike, right? I didn't got the classic Roy's hero shot because it was cloudy, it was misty. In the end day, I ended up getting this really cool detail shot of the layers of the mountain. And it's probably one of my best photos taken, because not many people have taken a photo like that. Sometimes it's just best to like just take a few photos around the surrounding area before you go for the hero shot. Number 6 is meet up with local photographers in the city or in the country itself, because when you meet up with local photographers, right, they can show you cool hidden spots that you never thought you can go to, or they can give you tips on how you can find ways to photograph certain places. They can also show you your insight how they take their photos or what angles they go for. And a good way to actually find these local photographers by either DMing photographers on Instagram, or you can look up on Facebook. And I do this pretty often when I go to certain places, such as like when I went to Shanghai, I DM a local photographer to go and shoot. Or even when I went to Bali, I actually reach out to another photographer if they want to go and shoot some photos or video content. And this is a good way how you can always learn a lot, and it's a fun experience as well. And I do this pretty often. You just send them DMs. Some might respond, some might not respond, but a lot of them are always down to shoot, so always meet up with local photographers. And in saying that, I'm currently hosting a group trip to South Korea next year around 2026, around March. So if you're interested in meeting other like-minded creators, like such as photographers or videographers, check the link in the description down below for more details. Number 7 is don't always go to where all the popular spots are. Yes, sometimes it's good to go to the popular spots, but sometimes you want to kind of avoid it, because if you go to all the popular spots, everyone's going to get the same photos. So sometimes this might involve going to the countryside of a country, or even go to some other spot that not many people know about, because ideally when you go to the popular spots, like everyone's going to get the same photo. Like for example, when I went to Japan in Kyoto, right, I was going around to all the popular spots, which I still did it. Like I still got all the cool shots and the cool classic like bamboo forest, the shines. Like, I got all those photos. But ideally, once I settled down in Kyoto and kind of got bored of like the main city, I ended up going to a countryside which is up north of Kyoto, which is called Chinny. And this was like a cool fishing village that not many people knew about it, and it's 4 hours like away from the main city. Bit of a day trip, and some of the photos I got were like awesome travel photos of like the boats, the fishing village itself. Sometimes it's just good to avoid going to the popular spots. And bonus tip I want to mention is just show up. Have your camera ready. You never know, sometimes the best photos you take are the ones you don't expect out of nowhere. Because sometimes like if you show, even the conditions are horrible, there's so many people, like crowded, it's just good to have your camera ready. For example, there's this one particular photo I took in Sri Lanka, right, where I was out along the beach. I saw some local fishermen like doing some work, and then I was walking around just taking a few, and then I managed to get this epic banger sunrise photo I've taken, and it's probably one of my favorite photos I took throughout my whole past. So it's just always be ready to like show up and just have your camera ready. You never know when you might get a photo that you really like. And that's it. If you gain some sort of value out of this video, and if you're into like travel photography or videography content or vlogs in general, consider liking, subscribing, and I catch you next video. All right, see ya, bye.